This is Gerald Johan van Waas and the educational channel of demonstrations regarding the theories that I have worked out in some of the books, and I want to give you some extra attention to a book that I didn't give much attention to, but it's pretty recently published. It's called Seven Color Wheels. It's the foundation for the yin and yang of colors. And I will tell you in very short resume what this yin and yang of colors mean, because basically I could have had a more simple front cover, so these colors are actually enough to resume all of it: the purple, yellow, white, blue, gray, green, black, red. I have discovered that certain colors have are like an emphasis on sensitivity for colors which are more profound in certain regions. These regions, there is this balance can be found and can be described as a kind of yin and yang balance as well, because once you have this region where some elements are dominating, certain colors are dominating as well, the sensitivity for certain colors is there, and you reach the next region. The same thing, it increases even more, you go to the next region. And I will tell you these regions. It's a bit a shame. I could have had an example which was a bit more physical in the book, so I didn't say that, but actually I could have added that. So because I didn't, I will do that now. So you can actually have a very physical reference with these color attractions. It's a psychological color attraction, but it's also a physical color attraction. So depending on how much the materialization process is getting the elements more strongly together, the more you have, of course, a more black color. The more the elements are very loosely attached, the more lighter color that there is, and the more light you have. These are opposites. Colors are about opposites in how we use them and how we combine them and so on. But also the color attractions have such opposites. That's why there is a yin and yang element in there that makes it so. So here you have these, let's say I have here 6 phases of strengthening of bonds within matter that can be associated with these regions where a certain color is also the most dominant and most sensitive to be there. I will describe these regions. You have at the right the light, where everything is as loose as possible, and there you have the color white. The colors spread as wide as possible, as light as possible. They are white. The color that you see is white. The attraction is white. So if you have very loose connections, it's also white. So that means that it's also used as an association in psychology for idealizations, for the theories, when the things aren't bound, but it is, you have a theory and you have very loose connections. You idealize the thing. You don't have to deal with circumstances that are not perfect. Here the circumstances are as perfect as possible, as least bonds and dependency that there is. So the energy is at its widest, is an idealization as well. So that's the region where there's an attraction towards light in that way, an association of light towards that way, and it's in the light as well. The other, when it's getting more close together, when one starts to deal with circumstances themselves where the elements are somewhat in balance with each other and are balancing out also a little bit, that they are starting to deal with certain circumstances, you have these elements are bound together slightly different. They are adapting. It's the color blue which is most sensitive there. It's in a certain environment where you have the blue that becomes more dominating and starts to bind itself to circumstances. If these circumstances are somewhat in between more materializations and still are reflected by light, it's somewhat in between the dark, this black and the white. It's the gray area where everything is more sensitive to gray. I'm not going deeper into that now. You have this gray area. The next one is when the connections are binding itself further in such a way that it's everything is growing actually into matter. Still, it's already connecting itself to matter, but it's also connecting itself to matter in such a way that it is still free to move into certain directions. That's where the green is the most sensitive color. If the connections are dominating that much, you have the most sensitive color there as black, which is the matter. So matter is forming itself together as strongly as bonds as possible, just the opposite that we had before. You have the black. If this matter is even getting so much strength as well and tries to, that it has to find another way out, you sense the material. The material is getting in a new foundation, a new way how it's expressing itself. It is getting energy out of it. The matter is turning into energy. You can also sense the energy in your body. It's the color red. Color red is the expression that you sense an over actualization of matter, which is trying to find a way out and trying to do something with it, with the extras. That's the energy which is in between. That's the domino effect of the emotions that will try to get out the chemical elements even that wants to be used for something else. And then the last category is the purple. The purple is used also in minerals, but it's also used for the human conditions. Here, the elements are try to have an as perfect form, a formalization of materialization as possible with the new elements, with the new chemicals, with the new bonds, with the minerals themselves are trying to be achieved and be done something with it. That's more or less the area where purple is most dominating. It's the area that has its own associations and so on. Once you start to go from the human condition to have less bonds of dominating materializations, but try to free them again, you have this communication field of yellow. That's more or less the areas described very quickly as phases of materialization and getting loose of the materialization, more or less like that. So you have the strong connections in purple, the setting free of communications in yellow, the completely loosened idealization in light as an association, the compromise or blue, the blending or the gray, the connecting and the strengthening of the green, and the materialization as the binding force in black, and then the sensitivity, the sensing of what can be derived from there if you evolve it even further in the red color until the full picture of connections are visible in purple, as it is also in the mineral associated in the mineral field, in the pigments associated and so on. So these are phases of a yin and yang, of the yin and yang of colors, how they interconnect with each other. And you have all the variations in between. You have the attraction in colors, how they work, and that's also worked out in the book. I'm not going to explain that now. But how do I use it also in my other theories? I use it quite often to now a bit more profound, that these colors are very practical to get your attention in the same way as it is needed. So what I do here is, when I want to express something which has a continuation, so a kind of balance, I use the color blue. There's a continuation, the balance is there, like in the gas, it's there. When I'm connecting the things, it's growing, there's growing something out, something is forming. The growth process itself is connected with green. If you have green in your field, you know what you have to do. It's a kind of progress. It's a signal to show you what you can do in that area. And the red is, of course, the attention area, where I ask for your attention, simply because there's an extra energy. You can do something with it, do something with this energy. It has to go somewhere. And the complete renewals can be done via the yellow colors. That's one of the uses. I use them afterwards, after knowing very well how colors can be used in general. Okay, it was a small introduction for the book. Well, I have, by now I have already some published. So this was about the last one, 7 color wheels. Feel free to check it out if you like, and always ask me questions if you like. Thanks for watching. Thanks, bye bye.